They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome to the SlashLot 605. Whoa, I just about blew us out there. Sorry about that. Welcome to SlashLot. We dropped the 605. We are now SlashLot. We are just SlashLot because we are a SlashLot for all people of all worlds and not just in the 605.
Yeah, we're a nation state now.
Yeah.
We're a SlashLot. There he is.
Hey!
I am Sam the Damned Lenz.
Woo!
I'm joined today, as always, by Casey the Killer Kelderman. How are you doing, Casey?
I am doing fantabulous, Mr. Damned.
Casey, I don't know if I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Am I just very quiet?
I can't hear you at all.
Be very quiet.
Am I better? Am I still?
Keep going.
Yep.
Keep going.
Keep going a little bit.
Yeah, I'll keep going if you guys want.
There we go.
There we go. Yep.
Hey!
Oh, hey!
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 Hey, Babu Free!
Now you can hear me. Yeah. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good.
Casey killed my ears.
How are you doing, Blake-nstein Ginithan?
Is that my name here? Okay, yeah, I'm
it's
great.
Blake-nstein.
I got no sleep last night. So I'm feeling fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a sleepless week for me too, so I hear that.
Guys, it's been a freaking week, right?
Yeah.
I think we all have had this last kind of.
I don't have it as bad as you guys do, but it was still kind of shitty. So
Yes. So I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is a positive thing. I think for all of us, horror is always something very positive for us.
Oh yeah.
And to talk about the two movies we're going to talk about, I'm like, hell yes, I needed this month.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel the winter blues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's becoming becoming a marathon at this point with these winners. So
I needed something just drenched in red and blood and hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good because we're talking about two movies that are drenched in blood and red and hearts.
Yeah.
The My Bloody Valentine movies.
Yeah.
One from 1981 and one from 2009. And we're actually going to say at the end of this episode which one is better in the eyes of SlashLot. I don't know if there's going to be much competition, to be totally honest.
What if they both suck? Then we're in trouble.
Then we just have to cancel our podcast.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, guys. See you later.
Blake hates movies.
I still think Blake needs to make that a show.
Yeah.
What would I do in that show?
You hate movies.
Yeah.
Oh, hate on movies?
You would talk about movies like Men in Black International that don't deserve to exist.
Or any of the Men in Blacks, yeah.
Hey.
Now.
What? I said it.
I
said it, and I will stand by it.
One
all
and
of them?
three are iconic.
All of them?
I don't like,
3 is not iconic, but it's good.
I don't like any Men in Black.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wild Wild West.
Maybe Casey should make a show that Casey hates movies. Because I like Men in Black.
Casey hates movies.
Wild Wild West is my favorite of the Will Smith summer blockbusters.
What?
Ew.
Over Independence Day?
Over Independence.
Ew.
Guys, I know I get flack for having different opinions in this group, but
is that hot?
That's egregious. Egregious.
And Casey doesn't even like Cabin in the Woods.
It's fine. It's a fine movie.
Wow.
Wow. Guys, it's fun.
Wow.
Wild stuff.
Should
we get into
No, I want to keep talking about Will Smith. Like, this is really concerning to me. Big Willie style?
I like Will Smith. He's never the problem in any of those, but I just don't like the movies.
But wow.
Casey's favorite Will Smith movie is Suicide Squad.
Yes.
It's Concussion, which he obviously has.
Guys, we talked about this last night when we were watching the My Bloody Valentine movies. Bright is my favorite Will Smith movie. It's his best movie. It's his most down-to-earth character that he's ever played.
Actually,
I like Bright more than any of the other.
Oh my God! All right,
I don't know if I go that far.
Remember, I am 12 years old doing this podcast. I was not born when those movies were coming out, which is actually not far off.
I mean, I never saw any of those in like the theater, but I saw them on like VHS.
I saw ID
over and
for,
over
like,
and
opening
over.
Day when when I was
Yeah, my parents weren't
12,
Will Smith
11,
people.
12 years old.
The first Will Smith movie I saw in a theater was iRobot, which I love that movie.
Yeah, I did too. It the first time I saw it, but
No, I think it holds up.
I haven't seen it since. It
Has
came
Will
out.
Smith ever been in a horror movie to transition this?
I Am
back to
Legend?
horror? Is that a horror movie?
Kind of.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
sci-fi horror,
Yeah.
I would say. Apocalyptic horror. I didn't like that movie very much, though.
I don't love I Am Legend.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But it's a horror movie.
Let's get Will
It's a horror
Smith
movie.
in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Actual.
That'll be our next episode's fan slash.
I mean, he did
Will
make
Smith.
Will
Oh,
Smith, yeah,
yes.
Will Smith in a horror movie.
Yeah,
That'll be
I
our
mean,
next
Will
episode's
Smith
fan
did
slash.
make that Kevin James movie, so he technically was in a horror movie.
Hitch.
Yeah. that
Hey,
one.
hey,
I like Hitch.
Hitch is fun.
I like Hitch. After I say I don't like Independence Day and Men in Black, I like Hitch.
I feel like every time we do this show, we start off, and if we have a new listener, they'll be like, "I thought this was a horror show."
Why are they talking about Scooby Doo and Will Smith?
Well, Scooby Doo I can get, but
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Hey, there we go. We checked the box that we have to mention Scooby-Doo in every episode.
Hashtag do that.
Hashtag Dooheads.
Yeah, I forgot about
It's,
that. Whole
it's in
thing.
our contract.
Yeah, well, it's not in mine.
with Hanna-Barbera.
Oh,
So should we dig into fresh meat now?
yeah, we should probably do that.
All right.
Fresh meat.
I don't have sound bites yet, so I'm just.
Oh,
gonna
I
have to
thought
do-
that was like you
I'm
doing.
gonna have to
I
do
know.
them yet.
Okay.
I'm seriously digging.
Fresh meat.
Someone go.
Okay.
Can I go?
Yeah.
I have a
Go,
very.
Casey.
I have
It's your
a-
show.
I'm
You
sorry.
go.
It's not mine. It's our show.
Oh, it's our show, but you go.
I have a very short list. That's why I wanted to go
Yeah.
first. One I'll leave because me and Sam can kind of talk about the one we watched for an interview that we did. But yeah, like I
God,
said,
yeah.
I have a very small list. The first one I do want to talk about. Finally watched this. It's been on Shudder for a little while. Just got a big Blu-ray release as well. Is Fade to Black from 1980, which I talked to you guys about right after I watched it. Like, you guys got to watch this movie. It's incredible. I know a lot of people have been talking about it, but basically the setup for the movie is this outcast kid who absolutely just loves horror movies. And movies in general. He's a complete cinephile. Falls in love with this woman who moves to LA that looks exactly like Marilyn Monroe. And so he basically starts dressing up as different movie characters and reenacts scenes from movies and then goes on this crazy killing spree. So I know for a long time this movie was like stuck on like VHS hell. But yeah, if you do have the chance to watch this on Shudder, this is a high recommend for me. For being a movie that was, like I said, kind of lost in obscurity for a little while. It has great production value. I mean, it ends at the Chinese theater in Los Angeles. Like, that's the ending of the movie. It takes place there. Like, that's incredible. Yeah, I think this is one to watch with a group of friends, one to watch in a theater if that is a way you guys are allowed to watch it. And it's a total cinephile horror movie too, which I absolutely loved. So Fade to Black, if I don't know, you guys said you hadn't watched this?
I started this
Yeah.
one and then I fell asleep, and I've been meaning to get back to it because what I saw that I really liked. It's one of those that I know Maria probably won't as much, so I try to watch it after she goes to bed, and then I fall asleep and have to get back to it at some point. So I'm excited to watch it though. It sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's a great 80s horror movie. Again, we're going to talk about an 80s iconic early 80s slasher. This fits in with that, and I think it is a lot better in production and story than a lot of those 80s slashers. The next one I got here, I finally watched it, guys. I finally watched the remake of Hills Have Eyes.
You had never seen
I
that?
had never seen it.
Oh my god.
And like Sam had said, it's hard to find horror movies to watch with our significant other. This was one that, like, when I said I had never seen it, Kayla's like, well, we have to watch it because she had seen it before. And yeah, this blows the Craven one out of the water. I like the Craven.
I know
too.
that's sacrilege to say, but I agree.
I think Wes Craven would have said that too. I don't know if he
Probably.
did. But yeah, the Hills Have Eyes, I think, is talk about great remakes of during this time. This is a great remake, and I think one that's deserved a remake in that fashion. I think Wes Craven would have said that too. Is like where you take this kind of great concept that was done at a low budget in the late 70s and do something completely different and update it for a modern audience. That's what this Hills Have Eyes movie is. It is nonstop adrenaline in this movie. It has homages to the original Craven movie, pretty much the same story, but updated for a modern audience. And I think the gore effects are just incredible in this movie. And yeah, if you guys were like me and hadn't seen The Hills Have Eyes or haven't seen it in a while, I highly recommend.
Yeah, I actually haven't watched this since high school, but I do want to revisit it. It was actually one of the first horror movies I ever watched. Me and my friends rented it, and God, I remember just being thoroughly grossed out and terrified by this movie. And yeah, I loved it. It was actually my first Aja movie.
Oh yeah, I saw this in theaters when it came out. I thought it was great. Has my lifelong crush in it, Vanessa Shaw. I liked seeing like Kathleen Quinlan in a horror movie, which I thought was really cool. And of course, Aja is like, I'm gonna make this as gory as possible with trying to get away with it. And I love some of the imagery of is it Aaron Stanfield? Who's the actor in this who kind of has to step up to the plate and
I'm not sure.
The son-in-law.
Yeah,
I'll have to pull up.
he's like a business dude who's kind of like aloof a little bit, and he needs to step up and take charge, and he does at the end. Like his little like third act thing where he has to go after his baby is just a really cool sequence. And honestly, like I really like the sequel to it as well. It's nowhere near as good, but it's still kind of fun.
Yeah, the sequel is decent.
Yeah, it's not great, but
gets to a little icky, too icky for me places at the end.
This one doesn't.
This one is pretty icky.
Yeah,
There's a scene where like they point a gun to a baby's head. I thought, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean
that's pretty bad.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. For some reason, the second one just didn't. I don't know. Do you ever have that where like you don't know why, but a movie just kind of crosses a line for you, and you just
all the time? Yeah.
And that's how I felt about the second one. Like I was enjoying it up to a certain point.
Sure.
And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it's not as good as this one. And I'm not like it's not a full-fledged recommend. Just more of like this is better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, if you like the first one, the second one's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah,
I still haven't watched it yet, so
no rush, Casey.
The next two, I caught up on some Netflix documentary series. Night Stalker, I know Sam, I believe.
I started this one. I haven't finished it yet. I watched the first 2 episodes.
I've seen the first episode.
I loved this series. I started watching this when it first came out the first weekend, and then Kayla went on a vacation, and like 2 episodes in, I'm like, I can't watch this by myself anymore. Like, I was genuinely getting scared because, like. So, Night Stalker tells the story of, serial killer Richard Ramirez, who during the late 80s?
At least 90s? The mid 80s, I think.
Yeah, it was like the mid 80s.
Was terrorizing, LA, San Francisco, that Southern California area, and, sneaking into people's houses and doing just the worst things possible to human beings. He's one of the scum of the earth, this guy, Richard Ramirez. And I love the documentary in terms of this wasn't about him. It was about the guys investigating him. It was about the 2 detectives going after him. It was
about the heroes.
Yeah. And that's one thing. Like, I like watching serial killer documentaries and learning about them and what they've done, like just as far as like that's what human beings can do, which is terrifying. But I like that in this case, you're looking at the heroes of this, the guys that stopped this guy. And I love that in the final episode, they show what happens in real life where this, they finally catch up to Richard Ramirez and he's running away from the police. The police actually don't catch him. It's this community of people that recognize his face and say, that's a guy, that's that monster that everybody's after. And this community tackles him and holds him down until the police can get there. I'm like, I love that. Everybody's like, this guy is a terrible human being. We need to stop him. And it's not necessarily the police that are the only ones that stop him. It's people like you and me that, take this guy down. And like I said, this is a genuinely terrifying documentary because they do go into unfortunate graphic detail of what this guy did, stuff I didn't know he actually did. And this is a scary, scary thing to watch.
Yeah.
The other one I watched, I think, Sam, you said you were watching this, or
if it's the other one that just got dropped this month, I did watch this one. Yeah.
The crime scene, the vanishing at the Sizzle Hotel.
Yep.
Not as good.
Night Stalker.
Yeah, I know you had, so you had watched it. What were your thoughts?
I
'Cause I didn't. I liked
I'm
it. I didn't love it.
Yeah, I liked it enough to say, like, if you're a true crime fan and if you've heard anything about this story, or even actually, it might be better if you haven't heard anything about this story.
Mhm.
I hadn't heard about it until they dropped the trailer, but then I like researched it. I bought like literally, I bought a book about it the day the trailer dropped, and like just researched this thing copiously. And the way, essentially, it's about Elisa Lamb, who vanished in 2013 at the Cecil Hotel. There was weird elevator footage of her acting erratically,
Mhm.
and it was the last thing anybody saw of her before she disappeared. And it was 2 weeks later they found her. Well, actually, almost 3 weeks later, they found her in one of the water tanks
Rough
on
of
the
the
roof of the
hotel.
hotel, and it was because there were complaints of like smelly, disgusting black water.
Yeah.
It's really weirdly reminiscent of the Japanese horror film Dark Water, which is something that a lot of people, that came out in 2003, I think, and this didn't happen until 2013. So there were a lot of people that on the internet when this happened kind of went off and did the whole internet sleuthing thing, and there were a bunch of wild conspiracy theories. Um, the thing that kind of bothered me the most about this is that it glorified these people for about 2.5 episodes before kind of pulling back the curtain and being like, what these people did actually damaged the investigation. It ruined people's lives. Um, and I was, at that point, I was kind of like, why spend 2 episodes giving these people screen time
Yeah.
then? Why spend 2 episodes like honoring their theories and going into depth about them?
It feels like this documentary was telling three different stories
Yeah.
in one. They were talking about the internet conspiracy, which alone could have been its own show.
Hmm.
About her investigation, what actually happened, could have been its own show.
Yep.
And the hotel could have just been its own show.
Yeah, and I
Or-
think if they would have just focused on the hotel, because the hotel is interesting. The
Mhm.
hotel is very, um,
especially where it sits in LA.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Richard Ramirez stayed there during his.
right. Yeah,
And
it's
affair.
got that connection to Night Stalker and everything. I liked it, but I think I liked it the most because of the last 1.5 episodes. I think it ends on a really good kind of.
It puts to bed every conspiracy that's ever been put
Yeah.
out about this.
And
case
it
of
has
Elisa
something
Lam.
to say about mental health
Yes.
in a really kind of impactful way.
And that's where I wish the documentary just focused on that and
Yeah.
didn't give any screen time to. I never heard of internet sleuth before this. I didn't know that was a term.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's all these conspiracy theorists online. It's like, why give them the light of day then? If
Yeah, and I mean, especially in today's current political climate, it felt kind of irresponsible,
Yeah.
to be honest. I just I still recommend it, because it does kind of pull things together at the end in a way that I found at least emotionally impactful.
Mhm.
But I do think that it has some big problems.
the last thing I'll say on it is the lady who managed the hotel is shady
Oh
as
my god.
yeah.
Yeah.
She the stuff she was saying in this was shady. She has seen some stuff that.
Yep.
That's why I'm like, where's that serious? Let's
The
focus on the hotel.
the one thing that really irritated me, and like, obviously it was the death was caused by a mental health issue. It was because of her bipolar disorder that she ended up dying. But the way the hotel handled it, the way the hotel handled her, the way that the hotel just was managed, I cannot believe that the wrongful death suit ended up getting tossed out of court.
Mhm.
I was very surprised at that, because I definitely feel as though the hotel could have done more, for this young woman. And yeah, it's an interesting documentary. Definitely have something queued up that's a little bit lighter for when you finish it, because it leaves you feeling pretty empty.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I very much enjoyed most of it, I would say.
Well, the final two I'll throw out are ones I'm sure you guys will talk about too. Me and Sam watched 10 Minutes to Midnight, the brand new Caroline Williams led film.
Yep.
Her returning to the DJ seat for the first time since playing, Stretch in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. We both had a chance to interview her. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that yet, that was just an awesome experience for both of us to have that. And yeah, I mean, we both really enjoyed the film. We also like we said during the interview, it's like this is a perfect way to talk about Hollywood and how people are dealing with like getting older and having the younger generation come in while also saying you have something to say yet, which is what this movie feels like. So yeah, this is a recommend for I know both of us, and
Yeah.
it is streaming everywhere right now as well too.
Yep, it's available for rent or purchase. I really like this movie. It definitely it loses the plot about 2/3 of the way through. It's very avant-garde, very surreal, very trippy. But I think it pulls off an emotional arc for its main character so well, and I think that a lot of that is due to Carolyn Williams' performance. She's got a great supporting cast around her with Nick Tucci, who we all ride hard for. This is one of his last film appearances, and he's given it his all in this movie. He's hilarious in the third act when it gets really trippy and surreal. That's when the supporting cast really gets to stretch their chops, and there are moments of Nick Tucci's in this movie that are just like embedded in my mind right now because he's just so great in this movie, and so is Caroline. That was such a fun interview. Definitely check it out and check out 10 Minutes to Midnight because Casey and I both enjoyed it quite a bit.
The last one I do got is one we all saw in the theaters at the State Theater in Sioux Falls for a late night screening. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, you guys went to that?
Yeah, did you?
Oh yeah, I went to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had never heard of it until last week, and so
yeah.
You're like they made one before the 2011,
and so I thought I better go because people were talking about it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I played it number 1 on our creature feature list, but I had never seen it when I did that. I'm just messing.
Yeah, so you also played Cabin in the Woods on that one.
I did, which is also one of my recent watches.
Did this make the 80s one? Yeah. Andy played it, right?
I'm pretty sure it was like 3. I think Andy had the 3 spot and he played it. This movie, I mean, what is there to say about it?
There's nothing else to say.
It fucks.
It's incredible to see it in a theater. That's what I will say. Like, I went from a 4-star to a 5-star, and I've had that a couple times.
You had a 4-star this entire time.
4-star. I had only seen it once before this when you lent me your Blu-ray.
Yeah. The first time I watched it was actually in prep for the creature feature, and I took it to the theater room. I got the Scream Factory Blu-ray. I took it to the theater room, and good God. So that's actually the only time I've ever watched it is when I'm completely immersed in it with like a big screen, and I don't know if I could watch it on my TV. I think this has got to be a theater room movie every time I want to watch it. I love this movie.
It plays well on a small screen too.
Yeah,
we probably watched it in the best setting possible. 1 in a restored classic theater. 2, we went outside. It was
sub-zero.
About 10 below 0.
Completely freezing.
Our breath was just
perfect.
Yeah,
it was a great night for it. Great night.
A great night.
That's all I got for fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
What do you guys got? What you guys been watching?
You want me to go?
I don't care.
Okay. Like I said, I did watch Cabin in the Woods, which I love that movie.
Yep, it's great.
It's the best deconstruction of the slasher genre since Scream.
Or just horror movies in general.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I guess I don't know where slasher comes from, but
I guess it is like more just horror movies in general. It's got like the pieces of Evil Dead, and it pokes fun at Japanese horror. And
agree to disagree. There was one that came out a few years before that. I think this.
It better not be that Leslie.
Is it
Vernon
Leslie Vernon?
No. Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh,
is a better
God,
deconstruction
yes.
of-
Okay,
of
I do
Gory.
love Tucker and Dale. I actually was just gonna watch that today before, but I didn't have time, so I didn't want to put it on because I knew I would be late, and then
You
I
guys
was
are
late
supporting
anyways.
a Joss Whedon written movie. Just remember, no, I'm kidding.
I
That's-
know. God, Joss Whedon is a dick, but sometimes his movies are good. Um, I also watched Uncle Peckerhead on Amazon Prime. This is I really like this movie up until the end. Like, it's really fun until it's not. Like, it kind of goes for like a super dark and kind of like depressing ending, which just didn't jive well with like the tone leading up to it. Um, it took a left turn that I was kind of like, I don't know if I don't know. It just left a sour taste in my mouth. But the movie itself is fun. It's about a punk rock band. They're struggling. They're trying to go on tour, but they need a van. And this guy who lives in his van, uh, everyone calls him Peckerhead, or Peck for short. He offers to essentially be their roadie and drive them around. Um, and so they take him up on it. They're desperate. And it turns out that at midnight, he turns into a flesh-eating demon
Of course.
for 13 minutes, and he eats
For
people.
13 minutes?
Yeah, for 13 minutes, and he eats people.
Exactly.
And so they're on the road on this tour. This guy's basically their only way that they can get from show to show. So they're just trying to cope with it and deal with it. And all the different shady characters that you meet when you're in a band, especially a band that travels, they're all written and played here to perfection. Like, every time a new character popped up on screen, I was like, oh shit, I've met that guy before. Um, it's a lot of fun right up until, like, I'd say like the last 10 minutes just gave me kind of a sour taste in the mouth. But otherwise, I really recommend it. I gave it 3.5 stars because what I liked of it, I really liked. If the ending had been a little bit different, it would have been a 4-star for me. I rewatched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 before our interview with Caroline. That movie still is a lot of fun. The Dennis Hopper,
Dual wielding chainsaws.
yeah, dual wielding chainsaws and the whole chainsaw fight at the end. Oh my god, I love it.
Chop Top is one of the
Yep.
greatest horror characters.
I was just gonna say Bill Moseley as Chop Top is just, God, he's fantastic in that. I rewatched Gareth Edwards' Godzilla because I'm really excited for GVK. Godzilla vs. Kong, and it's the parts I like, I still really like. The parts I don't like are still kind of boring. But overall, I really enjoy this movie. I think it's the best American Godzilla movie. I think.
Excuse me, have you seen King of the Monsters?
Yeah, I think this one's better in a couple different aspects. Although I do love King of the Monsters, just go for broke attitude. I just think that they both have problems with the human characters, but I can at least relate to the human characters in Godzilla more so than in King of the Monsters. That's where it kind of gets the edge. But both of them are about a 3 out of 5 for me. Kong Skull Island is a 4.5. Yes, I love that movie unabashedly. Freaky finally came out on home media, so I watched that again. I've gushed about it enough on this podcast. I love it. Go watch it. I rewatched Dead again because it's just a comfort movie.
Didn't you have that on the last?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I watch this movie all the time, guys. I love it. It's just like one of those that I put on and I just veg out. I watched the Shudder movie A Nightmare Wakes.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
did too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Casey did
I
too.
forgot about it already. That's how great it is.
It didn't work for me at all. Mary Shelley, they still haven't quite figured out how to make a better movie revolving around Mary Shelley than the first 5 minutes of Bride of Frankenstein. Like, if you want a Mary Shelley movie, watch The Bride of Frankenstein. That's my advice. God, my phone keeps shutting on me. It's on low battery mode. The Thing. I rewatched The Blob with my cat Rascal because it was his favorite movie. He passed away this week, so we actually watched it a couple different times. And this movie is damn near perfect. I love it. There's a lot of emotional connection for me now, but it's almost perfect. The only thing that I would say is like they need to just take the priest out of the movie. Every time he's on screen, it takes me out, and that tag at the end is just stupid. Doesn't need to be there. Kevin Dillon's mullet is the stuff of legend, and those practical effects, man, are just they're top notch. Yeah, and that's what I've got.
For fresh meat.
All right. I don't have as many as you guys do.
And I felt we were on the low end. But
I had more than I thought I
when
was.
you're like, oh, I got a couple, I'm like, all right, and then I'm like, he has way more than I do. I watched a movie called Psycho Goreman,
God, I want to see this so bad.
So do I.
which is arguably the best movie I've seen of this new decade. It's
Wait, are you counting 2020 in this new decade?
yeah.
Okay.
It's,
I was like, we just started new decade.
yeah, it's incredible. Man, I don't even know how to describe this movie. It's like one of my favorite child actor performances ever. For one, there's this little girl in the movie who is just knows exactly what kind of movie she's in. Um, basically, like this ancient like space warrior is like buried or something in this person's backyard, and his only like dream or whatever is just basically just annihilate the entire universe. But he wants to just jump from planet to planet, just kill everything, kill everyone, and be this big ruler. And he has like this rock with him that glows, and whoever holds the rock holds his power and can control him. And this little girl has the rock and just tells him what to do, and she's got all this sassy attitude. And there's just like these great sequences where like his name is not Psycho Gorman. The girl names him that, and there's these great exchanges of dialogue where like Psycho is like really upset that he can't kill everyone. Like even he wants to kill these kids. Like the entire movie, he's just like, I can't wait to kill you. And the kids are like, whatever, Psycho Gorman, that's funny. He's like, no, I'm serious. I'm gonna like pull your spines out and like play baseball. He just does all the weirdest stuff with them. And like there's one great sequence where like this kid goes, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you," and he goes, "It'd be nice if you were dead." Like just little things like that he's talking to kids, and then all of a sudden like Psycho Gorman's the people who are trying to like save the universe and kill him come, and then there's like these big fights that kind of remind me of the Power Rangers in a way.
I was about to say, I've heard this movie described as like an R-rated Power Rangers movie.
There's just so many funny sequences where like Psycho Gorman is like killing people, like innocent people, and it's just the funniest shit. This is I don't partake, but this is a great movie to like get high. I would imagine this is a great movie to get high to, and just like because it's so funny, it's so incredibly funny, and there's lots of gore, and he turns one kid into a big brain, and like everyone just accepts it, like it's a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Watch that, and like I said, I watched The Thing with you guys at the State. I rewatched John Carpenter's The Fog last weekend.
Oh God, I love The Fog.
It's on Amazon Prime, and this is one of my like leaster favorite John Carpenter movies. It's like slowly like getting up there for me. And I think the score is incredible, and the atmosphere is nuts. But I really like. There's a lack of like for me there's like a lack of like a villain in the movie. Like I know that there's like these dead pirates that are killing everybody, but there's like this weird like there's this lack of like a physical constant thing there that is missing for me, and that kind of drags it down a little bit. But I like I said, I love the atmosphere. There are some incredible shots of fog just like rolling through the town, and these great like neon lit shots, and obviously like John Carpenter, the score is incredible. And right after that, I watched Coherence, which is like borderline horror, like horror adjacent. I'm not going to say too much about this because the less you know, the better. It's basically these people in LA get together at someone's house. There's about 10 people, and they're just going to like get together and get drunk while this comet passes the Earth. This would make a great double feature with
Night of the Comet.
Yeah, because it's also an LA Comet movie, but
Nice.
like more secluded. Everything's improvised in the movie. They sort of just gave people directions like, hey, your note card says that you are going to do you as a character are going to try to leave the house, and they'd give like a card to another actor and be like, your job is to keep this person from leaving the house no matter what. So like everything was improvised. They just had the directions for that day, what they're
That's
supposed
awesome.
to do, and it was shot in 5 days.
So a little like Blair Witch in a sense.
Kind of, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like I don't want to say too much because you really need to pay attention to like details in the movie, like objects. You need to pay attention to like what people are wearing. You need to pay attention to like how people say things, because if you're not, like, you're not going to really get the flow. I mean, you are gonna get the flow of what's happening, but you're really missing out on like how it's happening. And it's really really cool how the whole thing plays out. It's a really like micro budget movie, so I wish there's a little more ambition with it, but like I can't blame them for holding back because of that. But it's a fun little movie, and it's on Amazon Prime as well, and I recommend that as well. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Who directed that one?
Gosh, I don't even know who it was. I had to look it up.
Like it sounds kind of like like almost like a mumblecore.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. You could confuse it for like a Joe Swanberg or Amy Simon's movie.
That's why I was wondering if it was maybe them or Patrick Bryce or something.
Let me see.
Oh God, Patrick Bryce.
It was directed by James Ward Burkett.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No.
Yeah, I think actually this is his only movie. He wrote Rango. It looks like.
Oh, I like Rango.
Yeah,
that's a fun movie.
Yeah, I recommend that.
Sweet.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. So now,
I'm still hungry, guys.
Yeah, it looks like we've got to go to the main course.
Main course.
What is the main course again, guys? Remind me.
It's Valentine's.
It is Valentine's candy. We did this a little late.
Yeah.
But we're going to celebrate the holiday a little later, I think, right?
Yeah. February is a whole month of love.
It is.
And bloodshed.
And cold weather.
And mining.
And hibernation. And broken pipes. And no heating. And
So let's talk about it. My Bloody Valentine. Original versus remake. Do we want to start with like our history with this series? Well, two movies.
My history is I saw them both before last night. I'd only seen both like once before this.
Oh, really?
I think I saw the remake first in the theaters in 3D, and then I think I saw this. But the original after. I don't remember, honestly.
Both of these movies are movies that I kind of like grew up on. I very much watched the shit out of both of them multiple times. There was a point in time where I probably could quote the 2009 one line for line.
Jesus.
I really fell hard for these movies, guys. I did watch the original first, and it was only because I thought I was picking up the DVD of the remake, because I didn't know the remake was a remake of a movie at that time. And I realized that it was.
And now that I think about it, when they repackaged the original, like it looked like a brand new movie with the cover art. So I could see that how you made that mistake.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was like, oh yeah, it looks like a modern movie. Wow, it must be out already. So I picked it up and I was like, this is.
Especially since the covers all just have the minor on it.
Yeah.
It'd be easy to mistake which one you were actually watching.
Yeah, for sure. And so I watched the first one. I watched the original first, and just was kind of just blown away by it. I loved it. And then years later, I found the gore cut of that one on DVD, and it's really poor quality. It's not the 4K scan that we got to see last night. But the gore cut just makes it so much better. The gore cut amps it up to a 5 out of 5 for me. Spoilers. But and then I don't know. I watched these movies a lot in my bedroom in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, I got in. I watched the original first and the remake. I watched the original when I was really getting into like the slasher movies in early college. You know, this was at the point where I had watched all the Friday the 13th, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, all the Halloweens, Evil Dead. What's next? What can kind of fall in line with those? So obviously, quick Google search will lead you to complete long list of 80s slashers, and obviously My Bloody Valentine was on a lot of those lists. So finally popped it on one night. Yeah, I fell instantly in love with this movie. I think the minor killer is just his look, his weapon. I think that is just one of the most iconic slasher characters of all time. In which, like I said last night to you guys, it was that like I'm surprised there's not been a sequel to either of these movies with how iconic and how marketable that look is of the minor. Like that just surprises me. No one ever took the shot of making a sequel on either of these. And,
Well, because it's so simple, but it's effective. You know,
it is, and for both of these, not that big of budget for either movie. And then I watched the remake. Didn't love the remake the first time I watched this movie. It kind of grew on me the more times I kind of watched it, but still, again, after this watch again this time, is that the remake it's missing a heart. It is missing the heart. Like it needs the candy shaped heart box with the heart inside of it. It's missing the heart. It's just
I mean, there's lots of hearts in
there's lots,
in these movies.
of physical hearts, especially in the remake.
I know what you mean by that.
So
I know what you mean by it.
If it's all right with you guys, I think we should start with how we watched them last night when we did our double feature.
Remake first,
and then the original, because spoilers, if we're doing original versus remake,
the remake wins, right?
I think we all go.
The remake is fine, but the original is very, very good.
Yeah, the original is a classic.
We'll end with the banger. We'll start with the meh. The remake, for me, the reason it doesn't work as well as the original is that the characters, I don't like anyone in the remake. And that's my biggest problem, is that I don't like.
They just feel like devices for the movie.
Yeah, and the triangle drama, the triangle love story doesn't work for me in the remake. What's Jensen Ackles' character's name in
Tom.
Tom. Okay, so I'm like, TJ is what he is in the original.
Yeah.
Tom. Okay, so Tom. I like Jensen Ackles, guys, and I know Sam, you love him.
I do.
He is pretty bland in this.
Yeah, he's not very good.
And I don't throw that out to him. I think that's a direction type of thing. It's kind of directionless with how he's supposed to emote in a lot of these scenes. Worse is the guy that plays Axel, who I don't know how.
Kerr Smith from Final Destination.
Oh, see, I thought he was much better than
really
the main dude.
And another problem with Axel, at least, is that he has no connection to the mine in the remake. He starts off as this high school, whatever, college age kid, just likes to party, kind of the party guy. And then all of a sudden he's the sheriff of the town. He's not connected to the mine directly like he is in the original, which I don't think works as well. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe we'll start with Axel in the remake. What do you guys think of?
I think so. I think there is a little bit of decent humor sprinkled throughout this movie. Not a lot, not as much as the original. I like our introduction to Axel as an adult, where he is the sheriff of this town and he is cussing out reporters who come trying to dig up a story that he doesn't think exists. I think that's a good introduction to his character that unfortunately the movie doesn't really expound upon much beyond that scene in the diner with him. But the love triangle stuff works for me in this. And I think it's just because, like, I get it. Jensen Ackles isn't fantastic in this movie, but he's got enough charisma and enough goodwill for me personally to, like, that kind of carries me through it, you know?
Because was Supernatural on the air when this?
Yeah, Supernatural has been going for about 4 years.
Oh, I thought it started in the 70s. Um,
How many seasons there are, probably.
yeah, I mean, I don't like to talk shit about actors because I'm not one and they're better than me. But like, I really felt like he was like this void of charisma in this movie. Like it was just like this black hole of like, oh, the plot stops, the movie's energy stops whenever he's in the movie. That's, I mean,
and I think it's a character thing though. More
yeah,
than Jensen Ackles.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I really
don't feel like any character is allowed to be fun.
Yeah.
Besides Tom Atkins, just because they know it's Tom Atkins, and they're like, let's just let Tom Atkins do whatever he wants because he's.
No, I think the other old guy, the one from Roadhouse, is pretty fun too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he has some fun.
I like his very last line in the movie.
Yeah, the three leads definitely. I mean,
shit
just doesn't work for me. Like, I think Jamie King is really good in the movie.
Yeah,
but
she's pretty good.
The most relatable character, probably.
Betsy Rue is pretty good. I thought. Like, I thought that she.
Which one is she?
Irene, the naked one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she had a lot of like spark to her, but obviously she's the first one dead.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I think that if she could have been in the movie a little bit more, she might have made more of an impression. Because I do think that she's, I don't know, just from the opening scene where they're teenagers, and then obviously like her chase and death scene, like she's got a lot of like spark to her. She's got energy.
Yeah.
That I do think that Kerr Smith and Jensen Ackles lack a little bit, but I'm also kind of with Casey on, I wonder how much of that is just the writing, you know?
Yeah.
And I think one thing they were going in for this one was, I think at this point, the gore cut was not out of the original.
No.
And so I think they were like, what can we get away with this time around? We're doing the full 3D gimmick. What can we get away with the gore in this movie? Especially since a lot of it is CG gore. And they go for it. I mean, they go for broke with all the kills in this movie. I mean, the movie opens in the hospital with Harry Warden just slaughtering the entire hospital, which we needed a Tom Atkins thrill me line in this movie, and we did not get it.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
But
I do love that opening hospital scene though, with like, I mean, he's got he rips a body in half. I mean, like, what? Yeah. I mean, Harry Warden is superhuman in this movie.
When he goes into the mine and shoves the shovel into the girl's mouth, and it just slides off.
That's maybe my favorite kill in the whole movie.
Yeah. So I think, again, and then when we talk about all the other characters that get killed throughout the movie, they all have great kills too. Like Tom Atkins has a great, like, through his jaw and comes out.
And that's the thing. Like, I like the fact that they do use CG gore in a lot of areas, but they also kind of blend it with practical effects. Mm-hmm. You know, because I don't think Tom Atkins getting I think when that was through his jaw, I think that was definitely prosthetic.
That was really good work.
Yeah. And I really, really, I love the kills in this movie. They are, I mean, you guys probably heard me. Like, I was like giggling every time something was coming up because I don't know. It's stupid. It's fun. It's like, you're right. You don't like any of these characters, so you don't care when they die. And that's kind of, it's the Friday the 13th thing where it's like, that's okay.
Except the characters I hate the most don't die is my problem.
Yeah.
Axel and Tom don't die. And I think they both probably should have.
Yeah, but I like that Tom escapes and they go for I don't know. I like that last shot of him like looking at the camera and getting that stupid grin on his face and then walking away. I'm like, yeah.
Here, again, we're going to compare this to the original because you know what? That's what we're doing on this show. The stinger in the original is like,
oh, it's way better.
Way better. Blows the remakes out of the water, and it feels like that's what they were trying to go for with the remake. Is how can we try to top off Sarah Be My Bloody Valentine with him cutting his arm off to run away?
Okay, but at the time you said the gore cut, right? Like we've established the gore cut didn't exist, right?
His arm was still cut off.
Yes, but you didn't see it happen.
You saw the arm.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, I mean, also there's a severe lack of mine in the remake.
Yes, we start there and end there.
Yeah, I suppose I agree with that to an extent. dent, but I also
mean,
think
I don't
that it.
think there's any room for.
Well, what I'm saying is like, yes, there's less mine in the remake, but I think they make up for it with other set pieces. I mean, the grocery store set piece
I
is
mean, go watch
phenomenal.
Go watch Intruder.
A better grocery
But
store.
I want to watch My Bloody Valentine.
The grocery store stuff is good.
Yeah.
I think that's genuinely the most intense scene of this movie. Where you
Yeah.
actually feel tension.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the
because-
standout for sure.
It's because they're chasing a character you actually like, or sort of have empathy for.
Who for some reason does something really dumb in that sequence, but
Yeah, where she doesn't hit the alarm until like
Yes,
after
yes.
the girl.
yeah.
I
And the only reason you
can't
like,
defend that.
Here's the thing, though. The only reason you like Sarah in the remake is because Axel is a tool banging another chick, banging her coworker, nonetheless. That's the only reason I like her, is because her husband's an asshole and she's a good wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
See,
am I wrong?
I really liked the Axel arc
Yeah.
stuff. Like, he's an asshole, hands down. But like, I like that he sort of like come to a conclusion at the end that like he's not a good person, and he's just like, you can shoot me, you know. And then he says something like, I know I'm wrong, but like, let's figure this out after, you know. So he does step up as a person, as a human being at the end of the movie. I really like that whole idea, even while recognizing that he's done some terrible things in his life.
Yeah.
And that's why I liked him more than, is it Tom? Just
Tom,
so
yeah.
boring. Sorry.
She should have ended up with Darwin from X-Men First Class. The other guy.
Oh yeah. Oh god, I forgot he was in X-Men First Class.
The guy who can adapt
Yeah,
to
Darwin,
anything.
he was fun.
The guy who can adapt to anything somehow dies. Anyway, I think he is the most likable male character in this movie.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys else do?
Okay, what I like about the remake, and I know it doesn't completely pull this off, but I like how they play up, like, if you saw the original first, you kind of expect Axel will be the one. And then when they continuously throw like, oh, it's Tom, it's Tom, it's Tom, it's Tom at you, like constantly, scene after scene, you're like, yeah, they're making it too obvious. It's not going to be Tom. Or at least that was my thoughts when I first watched this movie.
Oh.
So the whole time I'm still thinking like, no, it's going to be Axel, because that's going to be the twist. It's like, it's too obvious to be Tom. It's going to be Axel. They're trying to make you think they're subverting the original, but they're not going to. And then they do. It does end up being Tom. And to me, that was, at least when I was, 16 and watching this in my bedroom, I thought that was a really cool take on it. I thought that was really fun. And, I guess I can't speak as someone who might have seen it after, like, it was one of my earlier horror movies. So it wasn't like I had gotten used to the formula yet. It wasn't like I had been, like watching all these kinds of crazy movies before. I can't get that. I can't really separate that experience from now, because, like, to me, the ending of this movie blew my mind when I first saw it,
So the first time I watched it, I didn't necessarily see the twist coming of Axel's not the killer in this one, it's Tom.
Yeah.
But upon multiple rewatches, I'm like, I feel it's pretty obvious that Tom is the killer the entire movie this time around.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, like, now in hindsight, like, yeah, you see it and you're like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, they set him up to be the killer at every turn. But it still feels like maybe they were going for like it's too obvious. You know what I mean? How some movies do that, where it's like,
misdirection.
Yeah.
Stuff,
I don't know. I like this movie a lot more than I think you guys do.
You do.
But
there's nothing wrong with that. Though.
Yeah.
No. For me, it's a 3-star movie for me.
Yeah, and
So.
I think I had originally had it 4 stars. After last night watching it back to back with the original, I think I dropped it down to about 3.5. Just because I was like, yeah, I'm seeing the flaws a little bit more watching it in comparison with side to side with that. But I still like this movie. Just, it works for me. It's very much a product of its time. Like it's very much a 2000s remake, you know?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's not as egregious as like House of Wax or
Yeah. I guess, yeah, it doesn't
other
have like
stuff.
Disturbed or My Chemical Romance playing
Right,
during the credits or
right,
anything
right.
like
And
that.
yeah,
I
right.
could have used a Disturbed song.
Yeah.
A Disturbed version of the Ballad of Harry Warden.
Down with the Sickness playing as Jensen Ackles walks off camera for the last.
I will
Just as
say-
soon as he walks up, just ooh, ah.
I will say the reveal of the whole like how you find out he's the killer is really dumb. I thought. Like,
What?
yeah, where
Did
the,
just shoot us both line?
no, well, like where like all of a sudden like he's walking and he kind of like is there and they kind of like morph. It's like, really, is that
Yeah.
what you're doing?
That part's a little cheesy.
But like everything before that's great. Like the shoot, like, and he's just like, just shoot us both, and I'm like, that's a great idea actually.
yeah.
But
I would have.
yeah,
I love that because that's the moment where you know, like when Axel's like, fuck it, just shoot us both. I'm like, oh my God, it is Tom. Like,
yeah,
Tom's not, like the killer's not going to say that.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, and then of course they have the flashbacks where it's like,
they show up.
yeah, I will. There is some great stuff that we haven't touched on in the remake that is like really cool. Where like Tom is walking through with the pickaxe and he's like smashing the lights, and it cuts to like the suit.
Yeah,
I thought that's really cool.
It does the Tyler Warden flash, but it's the minor suit.
Tyler Durden.
Or Tyler Durden, yeah.
And then there's
what did I say?
Tyler Warden.
You combine Harry Warden with Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
and there's a great shot where they do a stretch zoom through the mine where they show I don't know how you would say it, the killer, and I thought that was really cool too. So
yeah, for sure.
There is some great stuff in this movie. It's just sort of like surrounded by kind of like yeah.
And here's the thing I'll give this movie too is I am glad they did this. I'm glad they did a remake of My Bloody Valentine for that early to mid 2000s audience, like during the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Friday the 13th remake craze. I'm glad that they made this. It's one of the better remakes. I mean, I would throw it up. It's I mean, compared to the Nightmare on Elm Street, the Halloween remake.
I would put it up there with the Friday the 13th from 2009.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. I think 2009 Friday the 13th is slightly better, but I also, yeah.
Also has the other supernatural star.
It does, yeah. And I really like House of Wax. I think I just like slasher remakes with supernatural stars in them, guys. I think that's just my thing.
So, yeah, I don't know. Do you guys want to jump into the original now? Then,
Yeah.
Jump into it because this is my first time watching the gore cut with all the gore put back in it. I had seen it in like separate scenes on like YouTube and stuff. This is the first time I watched it in its full bloody glory.
Yeah.
It rules.
Yep.
It's. Oh my God. So I had the crappy DVD where it was like, you can incorporate it. Like there's an option on the Blu-ray when you or on the DVD where you
branching thing.
Yeah, where it's like we'll put it back in, but it wasn't like a new scan of anything. It was like really crappy footage. So you can tell every time it goes to like the extended cut, and it was still cool. But it wasn't until last night that I'd watched the Scream Factory, the new 4K scan, and God, yeah. I'm not a person that like needs my slashers to be super gory. But the gore in this adds so much to this movie. I genuinely think that there are moments in like the original cut where people are reacting to something that, I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, it's bad.
You can insinuate what's happening.
Yeah, but you don't get that full effect. Whereas like here, the Mabel in the dryer reveal is disgusting. I mean, and it just keeps going, and you're like, what is this?
Because I think in the original, her body just falls out. This one, her body starts rolling.
It's a quick cut. It's just dryer, and the whole at the end with Axel cutting his arm off. Like, yes, you see the bloody stump, and but like in this one, you go full 127 hours. You're seeing it happen, and just the mastery of these gore effects. I remember like you actually like were like, how the hell did they do that?
With the
With
guy
the-
who's rigging up.
Yeah. When the
pickaxe.
pickaxe goes through and like pops his eye out.
Yeah.
Because it's seamless. You don't.
They just murdered a guy.
Yeah, like it
Yeah.
looks like they literally drove a pickaxe through this guy and annihilated his
That
face.
sequence is great.
It
by the way.
is. It's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, this was like I said, I haven't seen this in so long, and this is the first time, like Casey, that I watched. I didn't know there was a cut with gore missing, so this was a lot of fun. I love. There's a few things that I really dig about this movie. It's a lot of fun for one. The characters are just like, it almost feels like kind of like Grease. They're kind of like bopping to this small town and having a lot of fun and drinking and all this. And then, like this movie is like overtly red.
Mhm.
Like it's like unapologetically like Valentine's Day. Like there's red everywhere. There's hearts and all that. And
Bleeds Valentine.
yeah, and then like there's sequences where like people are wearing like really like monotone colors, or like just it's very bland, but then like they're in front of very bright red and pink decorations, and it just like the discrepancy between both is really cool to see. I love the first reveal of the heart in the box in the truck where the guy looks like he came. I love that. I'm surprised. Like I said last time, like I'm surprised no one's made a GIF of that yet, because it's the funniest reveal ever. Where he just like it's like he has a stroke. He just falls back in his chair, and that's great.
Wouldn't you react the same way?
I don't know. I think I would throw it out the window. I'd throw it. But that whole thing is great, and I we can talk about it. We can talk about pieces of it here, but as a whole, like when they try to escape into the mine to not be killed, and then it becomes this whole like hunt in the mine. Like I feel like the last 30 minutes is this big sequence where they're being hunted in the mine. They have to do those things, and like there's like these great sequences where there's no music, and it really feels like it's gone from this fun like slasher movie to like a very serious like survival movie. And I loved all of that. And maybe we can touch upon individual deaths, but like I loved how it became this serious movie at the end, and that whole like that switch from like fun lighthearted murder spree to like, oh my god, they're trying to survive, and it's very serious. Was it worked for me, like that light switch.
The thing that works is very much unlike the remake. You really care about the characters here. So
Yeah.
when they die, it hurts.
And a lot of them too. Like you
Yeah.
like a lot of like.
Yeah.
I can picture 5-6 characters in
Yeah.
my head of like.
Mhm.
I like you guys. I want even like Tom, TJ and Axel. I like both of them. I want both of them to
Yeah.
survive
And-
before it's revealed who.
Yeah, and you brought up last night that there was one sequence that like really brings slows the movie down for you, where like where that lady and that guy kind of like
I didn't feel it as much last
and
night.
for me that like really worked. Like
Yeah.
it really sort of like was like the first domino of like, okay, this is going to slowly start going off into a serious movie, and it really set the tone for the rest of it. And I thought that was a really nice scene.
Yeah, actually, yeah. On watching it this time, that scene didn't slow it down for me at all this time. Like in my mind, and maybe it was just because like I haven't watched this movie in quite some time. But when I was younger, like it was just like,
Right.
okay, it's the love stuff.
Right,
Like let's
right.
get on to. And so yeah, I actually think it's a really nice character moment in the middle of this
Mhm.
movie. The interesting thing too is like that all the mine sequences, like none of that was soundstage. They actually filmed
Yeah.
this movie in an actual mine.
Yeah.
And what was funny, I read that they rented out this mine, and the people who owned the mine, like it had been abandoned for years, and so they went in and they like literally they cleaned up the whole mine, like made it spick and span, spotless. And the filmmakers got there, they're like, "What did you do to it?"
Mhm.
And they had to literally use their set decorators to re-dirty the mine because the people didn't want to, like, just interesting stuff like that. Like it was a real like do it yourself
Yeah.
skeleton crew, we can only bring so much down here type of movie.
And I think that goes along with the characters of this movie, because all the characters feel like blue collar workers. Like I feel like I know this town
Yeah,
that they're in. Like,
for
the
sure.
town-
Especially you two who came from a smaller town
Yeah.
setting. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, literally, I mean, one of these characters is my Uncle Marty. It's the big guy with the mustache. But yeah, like
Yeah, I do want to give the remake credit for something over the original, and that is, I think the villain's more terrifying for me, in the sense that the one thing that I love about the remake is the breathing of the killer. Like, is so much more terrifying than in this one. This one, like, it felt like it was like this guy who was like wheezy, like,
Yeah.
we're like the breathing of the killer in the remake was more like calculated and intended. And so like I would love to see like maybe like a redo of sound design for the original, but like it's a very minor complaint. You know, like I think like there's the shots in the original where like the killer's coming down this long tunnel, and it's such a well-made movie.
yeah.
It's awesome. I want to say this would make a great double feature with the movie Tenebrae, where you get two movies that end with like characters either screaming or like laughing maniacally over like the end credits for a little bit. You know, like I just love that whole thing. So, and yeah, like again, the ending where he cuts his arm off and runs away and is laughing, and like the movie just ends. It's like, Jesus Christ! Like,
We'll
why don't more movies end like
Everyone
this?
in this fucking town is going to
man,
pay.
it's so good. Yeah, I want to talk more about the mustache guy.
He's so fun.
He is just a ball of energy, a bright light in our world, and I hope that guy in real life is doing well, because I'm thinking about him a lot now.
Yeah.
I thought of that too. I'm like, I wonder if he's still alive, because I just want to talk to him and just be like, you seem like like you said, a big bundle of joy. Like I just want to hug you.
Yeah.
And touch your
We
mustache.
were making a comment like, how does this guy have like a hot girlfriend? And it's like, he's just a cool guy.
Yeah.
You know, like
it was right around the time that he broke up the fight. I was like, okay, I totally get it.
Yep.
I totally get it.
yeah.
Like he's fun.
And it feels like everyone in the town loves this guy. Like it's
Yeah.
the reason like they stop fighting is when he gets involved. Is like they probably could have both gotten away from him, but it's like, okay, if he's getting involved, we messed up. Like,
Yeah.
we've gone too far.
Yeah, he seems kind of like the de facto leader of the group. Like TJ and Axel are too busy with their like, bullshit, egotistical,
love
like
scene.
alpha male. Yeah. and this guy's just like, he's the one that's like, let's go get some beer, let's go have fun, and like they're just like, Sarah likes me more.
And here's a little thing too, is that when they go into the mine, he's the one leading the girls down there. Is that TJ's like, well, you guys know the rules. You're not supposed to go down there. And at this point, his dad's the mayor. He's kind of one they look towards TJ as kind of a leader type. And it's like he gives the trust to this guy to go down into the mine with everybody and protect them too.
Yeah.
I mean, he does a great job too. He gives them all blankets. He mans the controls for the cart and stuff. I mean, he shouldn't have died. I feel sad when he dies.
But the way he dies. Is
Oh
so
God,
good.
yeah. The nail gun is just, and then him like scaring the hell out of his girlfriend.
But his death was sad, and I mean that in the way it was made too. Like it felt like the intention was like, this was a lovable guy. I'm gonna kill him horribly, and that you're gonna.
It drags out so much. Like not just, he's stumbling through the mine with a couple of nails in his head, but I mean the scene where like you're watching
him
as
reload.
he reloads, and it's just like, oh my God, like this is insane, this is intense. And you feel it when Patty, when his girlfriend like finds him and she won't leave him.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't want to leave, and it's just, this movie is really good at having that like fun, jovial tone that just turns totally sour. And I love slasher movies that are like that, where it's like these people are in the prime of, like, I mean, I know they're older, like working people in this one, but it to me it's similar to Carrie, where it's like these are kids in like the prime of their life.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, we're cutting that
Yeah.
off. You're fucked. Welcome to
Yeah.
adulthood.
And the thing is too, like I still have fun with all these people dying too. Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not saying
tone of like, oh no, I hate when they die. Screw this movie. I'm not gonna watch it. It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, I'm still having fun
Yeah.
when they die. I feel bad, but I'm having fun yet.
I feel like
Because you're still watching. It's a movie called My Bloody Valentine. You're still watching it to watch people die.
I feel like the movie itself is best personified by the bartender in this movie. Like, we got to talk about him. So,
of course.
This guy has the wrong job first. This guy is like, he's been at this place for so long. He's not leaving, but he's not right for this job. He's a bartender. People are there to drink and have fun. And he is there. He's literally only talking about how everyone is going to die and get chopped up, which, I mean, to be fair, he's right. But, like, everyone's there trying to have a good time, trying to get laid at some point, and he's just like, you're all going to die. And that's literally all he talks about. And it's the funniest thing in the world.
And when he starts off, he's even doing it in rhyme. Like,
I think he's told this story many times.
Yeah, he definitely goes home and practices at home in his kitchen
His
alone.
wife definitely left.
Well,
him,
no,
and that's why he's at the bar.
it's him and the cat at home, and he comes to the bar and he's got these soliloquies ready to go, and it's really really funny to watch.
That's awesome.
And even when Mabel dies, he's like, "Well, it wasn't a heart attack. I told you she was gonna get it."
It wasn't a heart attack.
And then, like, just
It's like
at the end of one scene where, like, they all laugh him off, he's just standing behind the bar. He's like, "Goddamn assholes," or something like that.
He is definitely a get off my lawn guy.
him and Crazy Ralph from Friday the 13th should hang out together
And Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino.
tell doom and gloom stories to each other.
Yeah, this movie's a banger.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite slashers of all time. No matter what series or anything, like, I think it's one of the best.
It's
ever.
definitely one of the best. Yeah, it's super good. And like I maybe not getting, especially for me, maybe not getting the recognition it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we talk about other slashers like, you know, Halloween and Black Christmas, and I wouldn't hesitate to put this up there with those two.
Oh yeah.
And Scream.
Easily,
Yeah. I think this is, I don't know. I do consider this one slightly underrated. I mean, we even kind of underrated it. I feel like talking about this now, we should have definitely put this on our 80s horror list.
Some nincompoop had to have Michael Myers in the list and not the Myers.
Yeah, and someone let his heart get in the way and put Chopping Mall in the top 10.
You
But
should have let an actual physical heart get in the way.
I don't have any regrets about that list actually. But but I do wish. I mean, there's a bunch of movies that I wish could have gone on there, but you know, it is what it is.
We should find a game to play where we edit a previous list and make it fun, you know, like in the same vein as that, but like we're doing the same thing where we're playing against each other and we have cards that we're revealing, and I don't know, somehow it'd be really cool to do that because I'd pull off Shopping Mall. But anyways,
I would stab it.
Yeah, this movie rules, and I'm so glad we watched it second because I would have been like, I would have hated I think I would have liked the remake less if we had watched.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who really likes the remake.
Yeah. Like, we can get into ratings if you want, but like, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. Like, I'm so glad we did this because, like I said, I've tried to watch it like twice now, and I've gotten like 30 minutes in, and something's come up, and I've not gone back to finish it because I've been like, I'm just not gonna do it. It wasn't grabbing me, so I'm really glad like we did this because it's so much fun watching it last night.
Yeah, it's great. It is absolutely one of the horror movies that got me super into the genre. I have a lot of nostalgia for it and the remake. This
and the kills in this movie are like nuts.
Let's get into those.
We
gotta talk. I mean, we talked about some of them, but I mean, watching it this time with the gore cut and complete, the girl who, again, the sequence with all the suits falling down, much better in this one.
Oh my
Actually
god,
makes sense in this one.
Yeah.
Her running through that is scary, and then when she ends up in the shower with the miner, and him just picking her up, walking a good 20 feet and
Not just picking her up, but picking her up by the
Head.
freaking head. Yeah, like
shoving her into the faucet, and then I don't think this is in the original cut that was
No.
released. Is him turning the water on, and you see water when
Yeah.
the boyfriend comes back, just coming out of her mouth.
Jesus.
God. It's
Yeah.
Also,
it's brutal.
yeah. Also, the decapitation rules in this.
Oh,
Yeah. Some guy's getting hung,
Yeah.
and his head just snaps off.
Yeah.
And
the rest of his body.
and I don't know if you noticed when they're climbing off the ladder. The first girl getting off the ladder, she steps on him accidentally.
Yeah.
I love that little thing. That little.
And the original, it just had him come down and he hangs, and you see blood spatter, and you're like, why would there be blood spatter? Because he just got hung. You know, the fact that not only does like his head comes off, you see the body hit, but then it comes back up and you see his head spinning on the rope still. It's like, oh,
so good.
But the worst one.
Worse than that?
No, hey, you know what? His was quick. It was quick. It was easy. The worst one for me, and I'm not just speaking as a vegan, but as someone who absolutely hated hot dogs even when he ate meat, was getting drowned in boiling hot dog water. Fuck that.
Hot dog water is pretty nasty.
It is
like
nasty.
No way, man. Not a chance. Like,
also his eyeballs were open in that boiling hot dog water. Like, ugh.
I'm like, he could have. He should have closed his eyes. Like, what was he trying to see down there?
Yeah.
Like I was telling Blake, that's a scene I entirely stole from My Bloody Valentine and put it in a slasher script they wrote. Complete with that same person who ends up getting face in oil in my script, ending up in a freezer later.
Hey, you steal from the best. So
yeah,
this movie rules.
God,
I loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it's.
Should we? Let's do it. Okay, we'll say original versus remake. We'll pick one. Let's rate them both. Too,
okay.
What we rated them. So.
Well, original for me is a perfect 5 out of 5, especially this gore cut. And the remake is a 3.5 out of 5 for me.
The original is a 4 for me. That might go up on future viewings, but I kind of don't want to jump to that yet. And the remake is a 3, which is for the 3 for me is like the first star rating of like I'm recommending this. 2.5 is like nah. No,
I was about to say 3 for you is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's okay.
Yeah.
I gave the original. It bumped up, from a 4.5 star to a 5 star. Like, this is one of the best slasher movies ever made. I love this movie. 5 stars. Can't wait to rewatch it again. The remake, it went down. I was at a 3. It went to a 2.5.
No.
Again, I'm with Blake. 3 is my recommend. Like, you should go watch this.
You wouldn't even recommend the remake?
Not necessarily.
I respect it. That surprises me.
And I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just that I don't really
Right.
recommend it.
Right.
It's more of if it's on TV or if it's on, Netflix and you need something to watch on Friday night.
Which it is on HBO Max.
Throw on My Bloody Valentine 3. Why not? But I'm not just going to recommend it out to people like I would the original or other remakes of that time.
I'm changing this podcast slogan to Casey hates movies.
I hate movies. Casey hates modern horror movies.
I don't blame you.
But even comparing to the Friday the 13th remake, which we talked about, if I'm gonna recommend a Friday the 13th movie, it's not the remake. You know what I mean?
We disagree slightly. The remake of Friday the 13th is pretty high up on my ranking, on my personal ranking.
It's one of the better Friday the 13th, but that's not the one I'm going to recommend. So,
I'm going to recommend it over 1 through 4 just because it does 1 through 4. It literally does 1 through 4 in the first 5 minutes.
But it doesn't do it better than 4 or 2.
Okay. I would recommend Friday the 13th, 2009 over 1, 3, and 4.
And I would just recommend Friday with Ice Cube.
Oh, Blake just showed his cards for our upcoming 90s countdown.
I guess you'll see.
All right, Sam. What do we got next? What are we introducing?
Oh shit!
We are introducing a new segment to the show. This segment is called Fan Slashing. It's like fan casting, except for it's the SlashLot version of it. And this week was inspired by nothing in particular except for the fact that I have a huge crush on Zac Efron, and 17 again got put on Netflix, and I have definitely watched it 3 times in the last month.
And yet it didn't come up in your recent watches, right?
Well, it's not horror.
Are you sure?
Blake, I'm telling you, I'm gonna burn it onto a French Extreme disc, and I'm gonna trick you into watching it.
Yeah. The only thing that's gonna burn is my eyes.
Yeah, with lust for Zac Efron.
It's possible. It's very possible.
I got a thing for Matthew Perry, so I think that's my driving force for that one. But I think the reason we came up with this is like how we started the Will Smith conversation.
Yeah.
The end of the Will Smith is he's never been in a horror movie.
Yeah.
So where do we put him in a horror movie?
Yeah, exactly.
So are we recasting a movie, or are we like what he should do in the future? Like what's going on?
I say you can either recast him in any horror movie you want, or you can pitch a remake in which he would. I mean, because he's going to be in the remake of Firestarter.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he signed on to Firestarter.
Is he gonna be the dad?
So I would presume so. Yeah. He's
actually-
entering the next
I'm not
phase
gonna
of
lie,
his career.
I can see that. I can picture that.
Yeah.
One of my
I've
ideas
dubbed the
is-
next phase of his career the Dad Efron phase.
and that's where
Dad
I
fun.
was leaning towards with mine, but I don't know where I'll fit him in.
All right,
'Cause I was thinking The Shining for another king.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely have a movie he should be in.
If you have,
Yeah, he should be in a movie
you should.
with Robert De Niro, where De Niro is swearing all the time, and he wants to have sex with everything, and they have to just share.
Do we get to talk about
Share
Dirty
a-
Grandpa?
share a
and
card.
SlashLot?
Honestly, I haven't thought about this. That was a joke. The movie exists.
I love
It's
that
called
movie.
Goodfellas.
Unabashedly.
It's a fun movie. It's terrible, but it's fun.
Terrible.
I'm gonna let you guys go first. I have to think. I have not thought about this.
I've thought about this. My fan slash of Zac Efron. Hear me out. This is something. Okay. Picture, if you will, a remake of The Lost Boys, titled The Lost Girls. And instead of having, obviously, it's a female gang of vampires, and it's centered around 2 sisters who have run-ins with this. The person, the star, if you will, who lures Michael, who is a girl, so Micah, into this brood of vampires is Zac Efron. He's star in the Lost Boys remake because it's perfect. He's hot. He's hot, and he's sexy, and he would pull that off perfectly. Like if you were at a boardwalk party and you were attracted to men and you saw Zac Efron dancing to Sexy Saxophone Guy, you would follow him.
The Sexy Saxophone Guy, just the same guy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta bring back Sexy Saxophone Guy.
He's on Cameo right now. Did you know that?
Is he really?
He
Oh my
is.
god. I might spend some money. I love that movie so much, guys.
Didn't know.
Yeah. He is the sex appeal of that movie who lures people in for these women. Yeah.
Surprised you didn't go full. He's playing David.
I thought about that, but then I wanted to do something a little different.
Hmm.
I think he would be a great David, but I also I just think, and make it kind of amp up the comedy of this. You know how I know the remake of Ghostbusters wasn't fantastic, but you Chris Hemsworth it up a little bit, where he's kind of just
He was the best part of the movie.
yeah, exactly. He's kind of the dumb hot guy that just does what these women need him to do. I just think it's funny. I would watch a vampire movie where Zac Efron was the bait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's my fan cast. or my fan slash.
Interesting.
Samara Weaving would obviously be the David character.
David's the Jason Patrick character.
No, Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. I haven't seen the movie for a while, so
We should remedy that. Theater room
I
night.
I'm kind of hoping the State Theater plays it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'd go again if it got play there, but
Yeah. The State Theater's fantastic.
Mine's gonna be really bad, so I will go before Casey does.
Okay.
That we can end a good note.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Really quickly, I just thought of like we're talking about Zac Efron dad things, and I thinking about it, I fully support him going into like dad mode in his movies and sort of like this next chapter, even though he's probably like 25 years old. But
actually, I think he's pushing 30.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely becoming a dad then.
I wouldn't say he's older than me.
So
He was in High School Musical when I was in middle school.
okay, yeah. That definitely settles that argument then. I would have him star in a reimagining or remake of not just the Amityville Horror, but the Ryan Reynolds Amityville Horror, because they both have really good beards, and I could see Zac Efron slowly losing his mind with like a really great beard in this house, and I think he could do like really well as like the leader of this family who's like brooding and like slowly losing his mind and possibly killing his family. So I would like to see that happen.
That's you said yours was going to be bad, but I think yours is better than mine, and I thought about mine for a month. I love that.
I thought of mine right now because I changed it. So I'm going to stick with Dad Efron too, except he's not quite a dad yet because his wife is pregnant. It is Rosemary Spaghetti.
Yes.
He is going to play the John Cassavetes role, the husband to Rosemary.
Yeah, who would play Rosemary?
Samara Weaving.
No. Here's my pitch, because I want to whenever I pitch a fan casting, I need to pitch everything that's a part of it. So Zac Efron is playing that role. Let him go to the villain route, because he also has that look of like, I trust this guy, I like this guy, he's fun.
Yeah, he's very charismatic.
Yes. And so he could pull that off. And then I'm going to throw in that it's obviously directed by Mike Flanagan.
Yep.
Because he can do no wrong as a horror director. And if you're going to tackle one of the greatest horror movies ever, you should probably have Mike Flanagan do it, because he crushed it with Dr. Sleep.
Yep.
I'm going to keep with his Dr. Sleep star, though. Rebecca Ferguson is playing Rosemary.
Oh.
I'm not sold on that. Only because she's generally very strong, a strong personality in her movies, and I've never seen her play like this weak, a weaker of like of a couple or a relationship. So,
but don't you think? I mean, I think she's talented enough where she can pull it off.
I'm not saying she can't.
Yeah,
I can't
just
picture
having
it right now.
Yeah, having that like
Mia Farrow's like so like shut her down, and Rebecca Ferguson is this big like.
She holds her own against Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like, damn, I want to see this movie. So
yeah,
who plays the neighbors? The
Samara Weaving.
Samara Weaving.
Keep the listen, guys.
So the older gentleman, right? The neighbor.
Sure. Well, I was thinking more of the lady who won the best supporting actress.
Oh yeah, what's
Ruth Gordon or something? Yeah. Who would play her?
So it's a Mike Flanagan movie. I'm trying to think of who's in the Flana fam that could play. I'm going to go with the husband.
Oh, Carlo Gugino would be really good in that.
Okay, that's fine. Ooh. Because who plays the husband then?
Henry Thomas.
Henry Thomas.
Yeah, Henry Thomas for sure. Henry Thomas, like, who would have thought that the kid from E.T. would be like seriously one of my favorite actors working today?
You?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I do love E.T.
So him for sure. Are we going with Carlo?
It's your movie, man.
I would be all right.
Yeah.
I think she can pull that off too. Yeah. She crushed
and she can be Zac Efron's. No, she can't. No, she can't. Not in my movie. No, that'd be weird.
What's that?
His wife.
Oh. As Rosemary?
No, in my movie.
Oh.
Yeah. That'd be weird. I mean, hell, they do it for men and women. Like, why can't we flip that and have a?
They did it with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, why can't the guy have the older hot wife doing it?
Mm-hmm.
She's in mine too.
Yeah.
All right. Directed by Mike Flanagan.
I'm thinking.
Mine would have to be a.
I think we're gonna bring back
director.
Chuck Russell to do mine. So,
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
just because I love the Blob.
I don't know who would direct my remake of The Lost Boys.
Jordan Peele.
Actually, you know what? If it's a female gender swap Lost Boys, I would want Olivia Wilde behind the camera, because Booksmart was fucking dope.
Interesting.
I would put Olivia Wilde behind the camera on my Lost Boys remake.
Or Karen Kusama would be great too.
Oh, Karen Kusama would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this. Let's keep doing our fan slash.
Our next fan slash.
I think you guys were joking with this, so I didn't plan in mine. And you're like, we're doing Zach. And I got the text message. I was like, oh, this is real.
I mean, I think it started off as us joking, but then we were like, this is actually kind of a good idea.
Yeah.
So and next month we'll be doing Will Smith.
Big Willie style.
Willie
for real?
style.
All right,
Yeah,
man. All
let's
right.
do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Will Smith.
And then let's pick an actress for the next month.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Well, it'll come up organically next episode.
Exactly. Yes.
We'll start yelling about how Melissa McCarthy needs to be. Which I almost did Misery with Melissa McCarthy and Zac Efron.
Oh, that would have been good.
That was, I got a thumb.
Directed by Mike Flanagan, too.
Well, yeah, of course, because it's Stephen King.
Stephen King, because no one else can do King now.
And Andre Muschietti did pretty decent.
Mike Flanagan. So, Will Smith will do first, maybe Melissa McCarthy.
Okay. So, Will Smith next month.
Yeah. If you guys are listening, drop your comments for your Zac Efron fan slashing. Should he be the new Freddie Jones in the new live action Scooby Doo? He already voiced him once. Let him.
I was about to say, I think he would be a better live action a better live action Fred than he was an animated.
Is Fred the blonde guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can picture that.
Know your Scooby Doo characters, Blake.
That's your guys'. Well,
okay, Blake. I knew that you were like not a Scooby fan, but like you weren't a hashtag do head.
I don't even know
the fact that I said Fred and you were like, "Is that the blonde one?" I
don't even know who like Scooby's best friend. What his name is?
Shaggy.
Shaggy. Okay, yeah, I guess I did. I don't know. I don't watch Scooby Doo.
Well, we're gonna change that.
Your daughter is old enough to.
She's not.
Oh,
no.
she 100% is.
No. We're still on like 4-hour French movies before we move on to Scooby Doo.
Yeah, you gotta get her cultured first.
Yeah,
put her to sleep first and then Scooby Doo. All right, should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Leave my daughter out of it, you bastards.
Oh gosh, this was a fun episode, guys.
They're all fun.
They're all fun, but this one I needed this. I'm glad we did the theater room last night. I'm glad we watched two pretty dope movies, and I don't know. This was a lot of fun. This is much needed.
Yeah.
So.
Want me to do the plugs? I can do the plugs.
Yeah, if you want to do the plugs, Casey, because I always forget half of them.
Yeah, so if you like this podcast and everything that we are doing with it, SlashLot, the newly rebranded SlashLot is on Anchor. So you can check it out, anchor.fm, and we are on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast as well. Pretty much wherever you can find your podcasts, we are on that. And we're also on YouTube as well. So, and then our main thing that we are under, the main umbrella, is Backlot 605. Check us out there, backlot605.com, and Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Backlot605.
Spook you later.
Is that it? That's it? Are we spooking later?
Are we spooking later?
You guys have nothing to plug?
Nope.
No shameless plugs for yourselves?
No.
Check out Sam's art on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Check my art out on Instagram. Yeah.
And check out Blake on Letterboxd, the real John G.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Slash you later.
Slash you later.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.